Well, good, I almost said good afternoon, but it's not afternoon yet. I'm just a little ahead of the curve. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tim, for the nice, kind words. So today, what we're going to be talking about is DISC, how to use it as a communication tool to help bridge the gap in any of our, I don't know, emails, text messages, verbal communication, just anything at all, period. So as we get going, I might go a little fast. If I go too fast for you, please do not hesitate to let me know and ask me to slow the train down. But also understand that you do have the capability to reach out to me later if you would like a copy of this deck. I'm happy to share everything with you. So really, let's jump in and we're going to talk, in a screen-based world, what do we think? Is it easier or harder to create those connections and those bonds? Harder, boo, harder, boo. It is, it's harder. It's like you have to break that barrier. It was already hard enough. I like to think of this in communicating and using DISC. It's kind of also like dating. We really have to sit there and figure out, okay, what is the other person? What makes them tick? Is it something I can deal with? Does it take a lot of energy when I have to be around them? So it's kind of like that. Now, what we're going to walk through in our time today is going to be understanding what is DISC, why it matters, why it's important. But also we want to sit there and we want to understand, how do I communicate with others? How do I sell to different styles? Then we're going to talk about how do we actually apply it, the application portion for you. And at the very end, I'm going to ask you to tell me or share with me what is one thing you're going to start or stop doing, because growth can come after we stop doing things as well. And then also I have a really cool special offer for you if you want to take advantage of it. So starting out, what is DISC? So curious, and this is total open active participation. Who here has heard of DISC or taken a DISC assessment? Heard of or taken? Awesome. Okay. What I like to do and think about when we talk about what is DISC, DISC is our hardwired human behaviors. Okay. So when you look at the entire DISC diamond, which we'll do it here in a second, all four of those different DISC styles, you have the capability to do the behaviors of each. What you really have to ask yourself is, what takes me the least amount of energy? Means those are the things that are natural for you to do. And the things that are not natural, it's not a fault, it's not a weakness, it's just saying that takes me extra effort, energy, or more of a conscious habit. So when we look at DISC, we want to understand that what we're modeling and what we're wanting to focus in on is that natural style, that unconscious behavior. Has anyone ever come up to you and said, hey, why do you always make that face when so-and-so is talking? You're like, I didn't realize I was making a face. I had no idea. It's that unconscious behavior, the things that we do. So when we're talking about DISC, something to understand is that there's no style that's better or worse. It's not to say, hey, only people that are wired this way are amazing at this, or people that are like this can only do that. That's not the case at all. You can get great leaders, great salespeople, great web developers out of any of those styles. Okay. So as we look at the DISC diamond, and you've got the four styles, we're going to do a high level overview. And remember, you can always reach out and ask me for the slide deck. So you've got the four different styles, D, I, S, and C. D's and C's at the top of your DISC diamond are going to be those task-focused styles. They see tasks, they want to get things done. They don't want the small talk. Think about it like that. Have you met somebody who just doesn't want to do small talk? Opposite are going to be your S's and I's. They want to do the small talk. They're about the people. They're about the feelings. But then we divide it even deeper and we look at two styles on the right side. D's and I's, they're going to be your active styles. In your communication, they actively participate. They click that chat box. They reply to your email. You call them, they answer the phone. Opposite of them are going to be your S's and C's, who are going to be more reserved. So for them, you're going to have to slow your pace, ask really good questions, and allow space for them to almost feel like they're allowed to breathe before they give you a response. So if we're looking deep at all of them, D's are going to be known as your dominant style. So D's are going to be direct and very tough. They're competitive and independent. So let's think about digital communication with D styles. I always love to use emails because let's just face it, everyone emails nowadays, right? So D-style emails are going to be very short, brief, and to the point. So it can have a long subject line, and the body of the email could say, see below, and it can have 2 bullet points. It's just clear and direct, quickly moving forward. Now look at your I styles. I's are known to be your influencers. So your I's are going to be the ones that like to talk. They've got high energy. They love the optimistic side of everything, and they're very expressive. So I styles, when it comes to interacting, we'll stick with email. Curious, if this person is someone who likes to be a talker, do you guys think that they're going to be a good email communicator?
No, terrible email communicator.
They try their best. Love them that they try their best. But it's funny, have you guys ever sent an email to somebody and then within 5 to 10 minutes your phone's ringing and it's that person calling you? It's because they need that human interaction and you've got to feed into it. So you could always make that note. Okay, so client Bob loves to talk on the phone. Make sure we always call Bob. Don't email Bob the logistics, just call and have a conversation. Now let's look at your S style. So S's are known to be your steadiness. They're very calm, they're loyal and patient. They're really, really slow movers. They're very slow decision makers as well. So S's, whenever they will stick with email again. Have you guys ever gotten an email from someone and it starts out with, "Good morning, Mary. I trust that you had a wonderful and pleasant Memorial Day weekend. As pertaining to the previous talk on," and it just goes on, and at the end it's like, "Warmest regards." You guys ever gotten one of those?
No, unfortunately.
It's just like, I want one of those right now. It's like a hug, right? That's how they do it. Has anyone ever, you guys read it and you're like, why is there so much fluff? Just get to the point.
Also.
So they're like, yes, it happens. Those are your S styles. They want to make sure that whatever they're relaying to you is relayed in that wonderful way that they were standing in front of you doing it. Okay. Then you've got your C styles. So C's are known for correctness. These are going to be your high detail, analytical, logical thinkers. So if you're sitting down having a discussion with them and you're talking about all the bells and whistles and the pizzazz and the fun, they're going to have a look on their face of, just tell me the logistics. Factually, do I need that? Is it going to make a difference? And it's not them being negative. They just really want to know. So C-style emails, has anyone ever gotten an email that you had to scroll what felt like forever before you saw the end of it? And it was just packed full of so much stuff. It kind of reads like stereo instructions. So long. Index B, paragraph 5, subsection 2. That's a C-style email. Because facts and data are important to them that they want to share it with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's talk about, why does it matter? So I'm curious, why do you guys think DISC would matter?
Because in order to help somebody, you have to know them.
In order to help somebody, you have to know them. Like,
I can't just hang out with my friends all day. I have to help all the people.
can't just hang out with my friends all day. Gotta help everybody. It's true. So DISC is a really good thing, and it matters because it's gonna help us write better emails. That one email we think is a fit for everybody, is it really a fit for everybody? If it has too much information, do you think D's and I's are gonna care to scroll through it and read it? No. If it's lacking information, you think S's and C's are gonna feel confident and secure that they can even reply? So you have to sit there and you have to craft and create it like this. So that age-old rule that we all were taught of treating and communicating with others the way that they do it to you doesn't work unless you're the same person, right? So what we've got to do is understand and acknowledge how they are wired. What is their preference? And you adjust yourself to it. So if they are someone that only wants to talk on the phone, that's the best way to get through with them. But you're adverse and you're reserved and you don't want to talk on the phone, you know you're going to have to adjust for that one individual. Other ways that this can help. It can help whenever you're designing your websites for various users. You want to have something that appeals to everybody. So you want to have the really good call to action colors. That's going to grab your eye's attention, being like, oh, that's important right there. You want to be clear and succinct. So the D's will be like, oh, great, I didn't have to search through everything. C's want to know, hey, is there an FAQ page? Because I got a lot of questions. S's are like, where are the reviews? I want to hear from the other people to make me feel more secure in what I'm going to decide. All of these factor into everything. So now how do we communicate with each style? Really quick, give you guys about 60 seconds. I want you to think about a recent email that you've sent. And I want you to ask yourself, did you get your desired outcome? Why or why not? If it's why not, really need to look at and say, well, how did I structure that email to be sent to that person? Was I speaking, basically, was I speaking their language? Or did I make that disconnect even bigger? And what I challenge you to do is when you've got that email in your head of what you're thinking about, and it's the why not, you didn't get the desired outcome, I want you to dig in. And I really challenge you, recraft that email. You don't have to send it, but recraft it and compare it side by side. So communicating with each style, we do a 3-step process. So it's OAR, observe, assess, and recognize. So when you're observing, you're going to pay attention to the cues and clues that they're dropping. Biggest cue and clue comes off a great question you can ask. Hey, Brenda, I was just curious. Whenever I have information to share with you, do you prefer that I call you, text you, or I just send it in an email? Do you think that's going to help you out right there off the bat?
If you can keep track of what they said.
Exactly. If you can keep track of what they said. So you got to take great notes. But that's a huge one right there. Pay attention. What do they prefer to talk about? If they're talking about getting certain things done, lean in. You know, they're task focused. They're going to be a D or C. If they're talking about the feelings, they're sharing a lot of feelings words with you. I felt, or if they're saying things like we, us, our, you know they're going to be more of an S or an I. Their tone of voice on the phone. How many of you have ever called somebody, got the voicemail, and you're like, ew, who do I really have to call them back? I mean, it happens to everybody, right? So ask yourself, you can tell by the tone of voice that they're leaving in their voicemail greeting. And then you can pay attention, pick up on it, and when you leave your message, adjust. That takes a lot of skill, a lot of quickness, but it works. And then when you're meeting with them face to face, what's their body language? Or you guys are meeting with them digitally on Zoom. What's their body language? Are they leaned back, doing this a lot? Well, you know they're going to be a D or C. They're kind of going closed off. And that could tell you, maybe I need to speed up, maybe I need to slow down. Ask a question. If they're all over the place bouncing and you're like constantly having to hit the mute button because you're like, okay, Brenda, seriously, stop. We know we're dealing with an I. If it's somebody who you can see, they've got great stuff going on in their head, but they're not sharing, and you have to ask them, you know you're dealing with an S. Other thing is observing what they like to talk about. They all have favorite things they want to talk about. Okay. So D's, they like to talk about themselves. Love to. They are their
It's definitely
biggest
curious.
fan, and they will argue their own opinion as a fact. And you cannot tell them that they're wrong. The grass is blue. No, actually it's green. I said it was blue, it's blue. They like to say things like, I have been here, I have done this, I'm involved with this. They also like to talk about change, and they like results because they are quick movers. I call them, they're like the movers and shakers of all the disc styles. I's like to talk about people. They're going to talk about the positive side of it. You guys ever had somebody, you come in and you tell them like what you consider your horror story for the day. But they find that positive side, they find the silver lining for you. That's not. They're always gonna find it. S's, they like to talk about their team or the group, so they're gonna say we, us, our. Well, we feel very strong that we want this at the top, not at the bottom. And C's, they like talking about the facts. So if you had to put it in digital concept, C's are like your coders, they're your geeks. All the stuff, and they're perfectionists. Tiniest error disrupts everything. The other thing, and I always love it when people write these down because it's really, really a key indicator, they all have favorite types of questions. So think about it. D's are gonna wanna know about the what's. What's the next step? What's the holdup? What do I need to do different? I's are about the who's. Who else is going to be coming to this? S is the hows. They gotta know about the how. How is this going to take effect? How long will we be without? And C's are your toddlers. They wanna know the whys. Hey, we're gonna, restructure your landing page and make it look, XYZ. Why? They can feel confrontational. So if you get asked those why questions, you have to slow down and take a breath. They're just wanting to understand. So now we'll talk about selling. Now in Sandler, what we always say is sales equals communication and communication equals sales. You think about it, sales might not be on your business card, but in any aspect of the business, nothing else can happen until someone sells something. So if someone doesn't sell that website, it doesn't matter all the design work you're gonna have to put in. They didn't sell it. So everybody is involved in sales. Now, curious, you guys shout them out. Online, you can participate too. Based off the disc styles, when we went over them, which two you find is the greatest challenge for you to just communicate with?
C.
C. Okay, it'll be a C for you. Why? Why C's?
Cause I have the detail orientation of a gnat, Crystal.
Well, you said that they asked whys, which I appreciate. So I think when I said C, I meant to say I.
Okay,
Yeah, because they keep talking. Like sometimes if somebody told me to say like, I could spend all day talking, but I have because you got other things to do, really.
mhm.
So sometimes it's difficult for me because they don't want to hurt their feelings.
True, you gotta keep it positive, they wanna be liked. Because that's a great fear that you don't like them.
Yeah.
So with eyes, and we're gonna go through this, you always gotta make sure you match that excitement. Even if they are coming to tell you the most boring story. We have a client who is an I, and I love it. He walks in, he's so excited, he's like, oh my gosh, I've got to tell you guys about this amazing story. Okay, and he's getting geared up, ready to tell it in his whole I body. And the person he was talking to goes, is this gonna take long? And as soon as they asked that question, you could watch that eye. It was like somebody unplugged one of those inflatable
Aw.
things. They just went down and they go, maybe another time. And they walked away. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what your story is, but tell me your story. Get excited again. But if you can match that excitement and be like, Bob, you know what? I would love to hear your story. And it looks like it's a good one. Is this a 5-minute Bob story or a 10-minute Bob story? And you say it with a smile and be like, okay, it's a 10-minute story. Be like, can I catch you like right after lunch? Yeah, sure. Great. Kept them excited, protected them, made them feel okay, but still didn't have to sit there and, for lack of a better word, suffer. So how do we sell to the different styles? Well, these are task focused and they're active, so they're the fast movers. Remember, they have the what questions. D's want that process to be quick. Time is money is kind of what they think. They're risk takers, so you could come in with something huge that's like, okay, I don't know if he's gonna want to do this, and something kind of down here, in Salem, we call it a Chinese menu, and you could see they're gonna go for the bigger thing. The more riskier, they're gonna go for it. Because it also helps them to be known for something. And they want that I statement of, I did that. They only need essential facts. How many of you have ever seen on ESPN when they do the highlight reel at the end of the day? Nobody. Awesome. How many of you have been tortured by it being on at a restaurant when you're trying to eat dinner with somebody? Okay, we all have. I firmly believe that that was created by a D-style person. And here's why. Because in 20 minutes, they can cover over 80 different sports games, all because it's that quick. They burn through it. So when you're giving information to a D in a sales interaction, or even just communicating, essential facts. Essential facts for events. Here's the location, time you need to show up, what you gotta wear. That's all you need to give them, nothing else.
The like listening to the news, but highlights.
Yes,
Quick highlights, the one.
it'll be on in the background so they can catch the good stuff, and then, yeah. You got it. The other thing is make sure you focus on the ROI. They want to return and they want to see something for it. If you can keep them focused on that, you're gonna be great. Now here are your eyes. So remember at the very top, I said use excitement, match their excitement. They're gonna be going off of their feelings when they make decisions. Eyes can also be very impulsive and very quick. So here's the biggest thing is you've got to make sure that you've got everything solidified with them. And ask that question up front because it's a fear. Hey, Bob, I'm just curious. You said you're meeting with 3 other companies about this. If you get to the end of the day and you choose us, can I ask that you do me a favor and at the same time you tell the other 2 that you're not choosing them? So we can keep moving forward. Is that okay? Is that something you can do? You want to cover that right then and there. Because it doesn't feel good. Remember, they like the good feelings. It is something you need to know. They're always going to want the popular decision. So when you're creating something digitally for them, give them the social proof. So if you've got something that's a new fad or something that's big that's going on that everyone wants to do, address it with them, get them excited about it, and then show them third-party stories. Hey, Bob, last time I met with a client who had a similar thing like you, this is what we did. And this is what we got. Is this something you'd like to look further into, or do you want to move to the next idea? Make sure you keep them engaged, keep them as part of the process and part of the decisions. And of course, as lovely Michaela said earlier, the attention of a gnat, they don't need product info. It's wasted on them. Quite literally tell them A, B, all we need. You start getting too much in there, they get muddied up and they focus on little things that don't even matter. And then it just frustrates you. Now let's look at your S's. So now we're moving into the more reserved styles. Remember, they're going to be very slow decision makers. They're very cautious. Great things to ask S's because they like how questions. Ask them how questions. Brenda, typically when you make a change like this to your landing pages, your digital marketing, how does your team respond? How long does it take them to come on board? And then you stop, just like that. It's so awkward, isn't it? There's that weird awkward silence. Everyone's like, somebody say something, sneeze, cough, I don't know. They need that. They need that space to think and not feel pressured. The other thing to know is when you can ask those how questions, you're addressing that next point of how they don't want to disappoint their people, their team, their family. So include them. And also understand their decision-making process. Hey, Bob, explain to me, how do you typically go through when you make a change like this? Do you reach out to other people to get their opinion, or do you ask internally for your team? Walk me through. It makes them feel secure, makes them feel that they can trust you, and trust not a super easy thing to get. Your last ones are your C's. So remember, C's love the facts. So guess what? If you're a fact junkie, you get to just jump into the pool with them. Give it all to them. They want to know the details. So when you have that like super lined out project management or a roadmap or whatever you're creating, you want to sit there and give it to them all the time. We are here in the process of your project. Remember, we're going to get here. Right now, what we're doing, and give them XYZ, all of it. These are going to be the style that is adverse to risk. D's will jump in, they love it. I's will jump in too, just because it's an impulse and it's quick. C's are going to be like, it's really interesting that you would suggest that, because I heard that, you know, ABC company over here had problems over here, here, and here. So how are we going to fix that? And if you can't fix it, then what do I do? They always play worst case scenario sometimes. And understand that their decision making is incredibly slow. Because whenever you give them one fact, they're going to go fact check it. You can get to a point with C's, and I love when you can get to a point with them where they don't fact check you anymore. They trust you. But it takes a long time. That is a relationship you really have to cultivate and build. So now that we've gone through that, I'm curious, what style are you most excited to sell to?
D.
D? Why D?
Because I think that in this industry, if you can keep it factual, then you can earn people's business more effectively. Like, there's so much going on when you're buying a home, and there's so many moving parts, and that seems very simple. I can get to the heart of things quicker.
100%. You have a bigger struggle because it's funny, you know, did everybody else grow up hearing that adage, opposites attract? I'm like, oh yeah, it's so true. So you think about it, you've got husband comes in, he's a D, wife comes in, she's an S. Okay, whoa. So I've got to appeal to what he wants to be quick, let him feel like he's in control, but I've got to slow it down enough that she feels comfortable and confident.
Yeah.
So it's it's like a nice little dance. I like to call it the cha-cha slide. Just kidding.
Love the tango.
I like that. So the application. So how do we do this? Well, you're playing process of elimination. You have 4 possibilities. And by figuring out, paying attention to cues and clues and asking yourself a couple of questions, you can erase half of them. And you can really pinpoint and find out what the style is of the other person. So you can ask yourself, are they about the task or the people? Do they want small talk or no? Are they actively participating, or do I feel like I have to, you know, go through witness protection and figure out where the hell they hid them? How are they? But really, the best question before you even meet them, how do you prefer that I share information with you? And give them the options. Would you like me to text you, call? They do it on every other survey. Have you guys noticed that? How do you want your feedback? I guess just in a letter, Bob, thanks. It's pretty cool stat. Once you recognize where they're at on the disc diamond, you adjust your own natural style. So for your communication map, that disc is. For your web content, it's going to help you when you tailor those landing pages. You know, making sure that you've got something that appeals to everybody. In your email marketing, you get to personalize your tone. And you can categorize that out. Here are my clients that are D's. Here's the email that's going to go to them. Here are my I's. Here's the call to action. Make it fun and lively. Here are my S's, I'm gonna reassure them of all the good stuff, and here are the C's, here's all the updates that you need to know. It's so cool to watch it happen and just start having those conversations, you're like, wow. You know, Gina over there, I haven't heard from her in a year, and all of a sudden now she's answering everything I give her. It's because you changed and you started speaking Gina's language. So I'm curious, guys, how do you see that when you start applying DISC, you can improve your client or your user's experience?
I wonder if there's something to be said about owning who you are and not flexing styles, and then like you're attracting then people who enjoy doing business with you, as opposed to the concept of flexing who you are to tailor to everybody in the world when you're not meant for everybody. So I'm interested in your opinion.
100%. So I always say you want to be almost like a chameleon, to where you can ebb and flow in any environment with any other person. And it's really cool when you can walk out and people cannot put their finger on 100% how you're wired. That's what shows the greatness. And yeah, you don't need to walk in and be like, if I walked in here right now in my natural styles, well, number one, I wouldn't be up here. I'd be sitting over in my office. Thank you, Michaela, for the offer, but no, I'm gonna decline. I'm not naturally wired to want to do this. But I do. So I would agree with that. You just walk in, there you go. Adjust to the people around you.
Okay.
So action steps. This is not a requirement. I always want to make sure everyone understands that. But I would love to know, and I'd love for you to share with me, if you want to scan the QR code, go ahead, fill it out, and just share with me, what are you going to do based off of this? Or what are you going to stop doing? Growth also happens when we quit stuff. Okay. How are you going to use it in your communication, in your sales, in your design?
Be less detailed.
Be less detailed.
Sometimes I feel like I'm being unethical or I'm lying, but I'm not saying.
Oh, that's
it.
Oh, that is, like, you feel guilt.
I think that an entire economy crashed because people got into loans that they didn't know what they were getting themselves.
This is
into.
true.
And I think that still most people don't even know what their 30-year fixed mortgage is doing, you know, when it comes to escrow changing annually. So I really think that certain level of detail is the ethical baseline. But I think sometimes I do too much detail. I mean, I have to make sure that they know it. You know, I'm being transparent and honest.
I can get that. So I look at it, it's a lot of, you know, did you sell them what they wanted or what they needed? Because people will walk in thinking, this is what I want. I want that big, beautiful house with 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, pool in the backyard. Yes, I want it. But do I need it financially? No. Space, no. So being able to understand that. But I could feel that. Yeah.
Well, I would feel bad, like if, like, okay, me and my husband, the opposites attract, it's very true. If you start talking too long, he's getting up and like, girl, we can't have a house anymore. We don't have that, I'm a renter, because this lady are talking too long, so thinking about like, how to disclose the most relevant information. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, just take your rent payment, I'll try by 12, and then figure the equity to be building.
Babe. I'll decide right now, I'll decide, you can argue with him, because I've tried, it's not working, that's why I'm buying this many things.
So
I'll fill out my offer.
the next QR code I have for you guys, if you want to scan it, again, no obligation. This is a really great offer for you to come and be able to experience what we do at Sandler. So remember, sales is communication, communication is sales. It's really the big part of it is we teach you how do you communicate better. It's asking better questions, understanding how to introduce yourself, how to introduce others. How do you even prospect for business? Where do I need to go? Who do I need to talk to? How do those conversations need to happen? So if you'd love to be a guest of ours, scan that, fill out the form. We'll find a great session for you. And last, of course, I love to connect with people. So if you would like to scan that awesome QR code, it'll take you to my LinkedIn page. Love to connect, keep the conversation going. That's all I've got for you guys today.
Thank you.
Yay, very well.
Thank you, Crystal. Anyone have questions for Crystal that we didn't cover during the talk? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Well, I have a private line to Crystal, so I don't have to ask my questions now. I can ask them anytime. No, thank you, Crystal, for that awesome overview of DISC and how we can use it different ways digitally and how to communicate better, and appreciate all of your expertise and willingness to share in that area. So I will wrap us up. Our next meeting, same place. We'll have a new link, of course, on the meetup.org for the online attendance, but it'll be June 25th. That's Wednesday, June 25th, and again from 10 to 11:30. And I am actually the speaker next month, and I'll be talking about how AI is changing online visibility. If you've heard the term LEO, L-E-O, not law enforcement officer, but large language model engine optimization. Oh, my video just went out again. That's awesome. Anyway, you guys can still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be looking at basically AI optimization, kind of how that builds on traditional SEO, and we'll have some practical steps for making sure you're still visible in the new SEO world that we're in. So hopefully I will see you guys. Well, hopefully I should be in person, but hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Anything else we need to mention, Sarah?
I think that covered it.
All right. Thanks again to Crystal. Let's give it, guys in the room online, let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you, guys.